Mazizi Gampu, along with Sipelele Gasa, were part of the playing control team who umpired in the Cricket Malawi Quad Nations Cup between Malawi, Germany, Tanzania, and Bahrain in Malawi in early July this year. So Mazizi, good evening. Are you with us? Welcome, and we look forward to your presentation on match preparation.
All right, let's start off. Good. I've heard you guys said good day, good evening to everybody. My name is Mazizi Gampu, one of the umpires in Cricket South Africa. Like Tom explained, I'm just going to cover the three aspects of match preparation, which is this can be, it can differ from person to person. This is just the documentation that the most important things that I included that you need to have and must come with or need to remember, or how to prepare for your match and make sure that everything runs smoothly. Okay, so we'll start with the dress code. On the dress code, the sponsored hat or cap needs to be brought with, together with the clean headband. I think they would emphasize the word clean because some of them, you might have a very hot day and it might be sweaty. So you might just need to make sure that you clean it every time you go to officiate the game. Make sure that everything looks clean together with your clean and iron sponsored shirt with preferably a white vest so that you don't have too much of color blocking, and comfortably fitting black pants. Just make sure that you are able to move and get ready to move to your comfortable position for a run out, because at times that gets you caught off guard, so you need to quickly move. So if you got tight pants, they might just tore. So you try and prevent that and just make sure that you have a comfortable one. And predominantly white running shoes. That will be also something that you would need, and socks. White socks as well. So if you can have white socks, I don't know if it's white socks or black socks, because in some association it varies. So depending on the format that's being played, and you can go with whatever that you agree with. A modest watch, a belt, and sunglasses. We definitely do need those because we've done lots of games where you need to make sure that you've got a watch so that if anything happens to your colleague, and then you know that maybe that watch, the battery dies, and you've got the backup with your colleague, and you've got the scorers as well that can help you so that you are all in sync when it comes to time. And then belt, just make sure that the pens are up, you don't drop them. And the sunglasses, of course, for some of the brightness when it's too bright, and white clothes as well can affect your eyesight. So that you need to take care of your eyes because they are the key thing when you do your umpiring. Yeah. And then let's go to the on-field equipment. So these are the must-have. Just to give you a background, when it comes to the equipment that I have, this is my personal experience now. I have only one bag that I normally travel with for a cricket match, which I make sure that these items that I'm about to mention now are always on that bag. So I'll have a clicker, I'll have a bowling card, I'll have pens, like probably 5 or 6 pens, it all depends. Some would have maybe colorful pens so that they can do their magic. So people differ. It all depends on how you want to do it and what makes you happy. And the bowler's marker, yeah, we definitely use that one. And the spare heavy pails in conditions where it's very windy, you might just need to play with your heavy pails, and maybe like when we started, we said you need to have a spare a cap and a hat, and then you can change from a hat and using a cap because it's very windy. And those are the key things that you need to make sure that you do have them with you before you go to a game. A pair of scissors, or a nail clipper. I think I've lost so many pair of scissors because sometimes forget to put them with the luggage when I have to travel, and they get confiscated there at the gate. So I now carry on a nail clipper, which is much more safer for me to travel around with. And which something else that I think it should go to the must-have, it's a ball gauge. Thanks to my colleague Abdullah, I remember your words when talking about the ball gauge. That you need to have so that both of you do have it. So that if you, by any time that ball needs to be checked, players can go to either. So it looks very professional and it looks very, I would say it is very professional for anyone to so that they don't rely on one person, so that they can be able to ask either umpire, because you all equal when you come to the field of play. And the spike key, so that will be your optional extras that you can carry with. Sweets, this is very important as well, right? So sometimes the sugar levels just go down. You just need something to nibble on, which can be those sweets that can help you to bring back that concentration level, especially when you had a long day and a hot one. And in the afternoons, those sweets may become very handy when you have to utilize them to bring back your concentration. Okay, these are the examples of your bowler's marker, which is the first one on the top left, and the bottom one, those are the handcuffs, which is that ball gauge that we use. I think often some of the guys get stopped. They ask, why are you having handcuffs at the airport? So then they have to actually show them this is a ball gauge. They look like a handcuff, so we can't blame them for that. And you have your overcard, which is some might differ from what this one looks like. And you've got a clicker. We all know we've got different type of clickers as well. And the spike key, which is the GM spike key. So those are the equipment, the example of them that you need to carry with when you go to a field of play. Okay, and the equipment in your bag, my bag as well. I make sure that I do have a spare standing shirt. Not only the shirt, even the trousers, because I can never know what can happen. So at least if it happens on the early overs of a 50 over match or a 4-day game match, then I know I still have backup and I can quickly go and change and make sure that I've got a proper standing shirt or a standing pants if anything happened to it. A tape measure, which is key. You always need to have that one. Make sure that you've got a 5 meter and a 30 meter one. Be able to take all the measurements before you start the game and make sure that the measurements are correct and are as per the law book. And your law book, which is your Bible that you need to carry with. And playing conditions, those are key as well, that you need to be familiarize yourself with the playing conditions, because you've got different formats that you play and you've got different playing conditions that are not similar to any other. So just make sure that you do have that in terms, or in case you need to refer any of the situation, or you just want to double check on one of the playing conditions, then you know that you've got that with you. The team sheet, captain's report, and violation report, which is some would refer to a code of conduct or code of behavior. So you need to have that handy, because we do know those circumstances do happen in a match situation. And the team sheets, it's very important that we do have them as well as the captain's report, so that you need to know your areas of development and what you did well, and so what is it that you need to do to keep doing and what you need to improve on, and which is very key in how it helps you to develop your umpiring skills as well. And the spare balls, some associations, they do carry the spare balls, but some don't. That's why I said, like, this is just the information that you need to have or need to know. It might not be applicable to everyone, but then those need to be carried as well. The sunscreen, it's a must. I think that's definitely a must. You need to all take care of the skin, because we are there on the 30, 40 degrees Celsius when it's too hot, and you definitely need to take care of your skin. And this last bullet point, I don't know, Tom, maybe need to explain more. Maybe he's got an experience or some story to tell about the toilet paper, but I think I might have a clue why he had a toilet paper there. So it might have been the previous food that he had last night, and he realized where he had to go help himself. There was no toilet paper. Now there's an exclamation mark there that it's a must for one to have in the bag. So thanks for the tip, Tom and Abdullah. I'll make sure that I have that with me going forward. And optional extras, which is your eye drops. Deodorant, I definitely do carry that, and lip balm, I do. And oat lunch, sometimes you might just need to carry. Even a small snack, it could be anything that you can nibble on just in case maybe lunch is delayed or maybe lunch never arrives. Anything can happen, so that you do have the energy to be able to go back and perform your duties as an umpire. Okay, and this is the paperwork that we're referring to. This is the team sheet. It might look different. This is Western Province one. So you can see it's got the competition and what you limited overs. And if it's a T20, you click on which one is applicable. Obviously the league, venue date, and the teams. This needs to be submitted to the scorers before the toss, and both captains should have their team list before the toss, which is something that has been discussed when we have to do the toss. And on the right hand side, you'll have the captain's report. So that's how the captain reports look. Look at how bad you did on correction of your decision. So it's got the guidelines to complete on these forms. In most times, those captains don't even read whether A is very accurate or E very poor. Some might just give you E's and thinking E it might be excellent. So Mazizi was excellent and give me all E's. And when you look at the criteria, that means I don't know what I was doing on that day. I got all E's for excellent, but in the meanwhile, I was very poor level of umpiring, and I need to redo my courses. And there's a section there for the remarks that needs to be completed, especially when there's area of development. That's where you just make sure that the captains do give you a constructive if criticism, and if it's an area for you to develop on, because you'll see if it's something that's coming more often, so that means it's very common, then it's something that you really need to work on. So that's how it looks like. And let's look at the others, which is the violation of the code of behavior. This is where any incident happens. And this one is very important when that incident happened, that you do have the time, the over number, and people that are involved. And this needs to be completed by both umpires on the field. And preferably if this can be done immediately after the game before both umpires can go home. And just make sure that you all agree on that and before you submit. And this will avoid any other things to be thrown out, because there might be few things that you might not include there, and they might just say that information is not there, therefore we can't take this further. So just make sure that whatever that you do with your colleague when you complete the code of conduct or code of behavior, the violation form, make sure that you all agree and you've got all the facts and the times and the people that are involved, and make sure that all is being submitted correctly. Okay, the night before, you need to revise the playing conditions. Just make sure that you familiarize yourself, because there's different formats, a T20, 50 over, or a 4-day match, of which you need to remember all those playing conditions and get 8 hours of sleep. So I don't know, I don't sleep that long, but then I try to get at least 6. So we vary from people to people. Some I know Tom gets the all 8 or if not 9 hours, and I know a colleague of mine, Spelele, as well. They also enjoy their sleep. So just make sure you get enough sleep and confirm the direction to the field if you're unsure. That's very important. And the other thing that I would like to add on this one is just to make sure that you contact your colleague a night before just to confirm the transportation logistics as well. So one might not have a car or might not be mobile, or maybe might offer a lift to pick that person up to go to the field. And that's a good teamwork. It starts before the game. It starts the day or the days before the match. So once you guys start confirming on that, and it goes to show that your teamwork has already started prior to the game starting, which is a good indication. Iron your clothes and pack your bag. Like I said, my bag is always packed. I just need to iron my clothes and make sure that they're ready for the following day. Fill in the captain's report and the team sheet. So that's the top part that you need to complete, that you're very sure of, because the captain might change and you don't know who the teams are. So that can be completed once you get into the field of play, and make sure that you got everything correct. So at the field of play, be at least an hour before the scheduled start of play. I still think this is too little, because in an hour it goes so quickly. I think you'll realize once you start umpiring, if you haven't, and if you're currently umpiring, then you know that you need more than that to be able to make sure that everything is covered, especially if there was weather conditions. It was raining the night before, and all of that information that you need to gather all the information that as much as possible, and give yourself enough time to be able to work out everything before you start your match. Wait for your partner before going to inspect the field and the pitch. This is very key as well. We once had a session with one of the coaches one of the provincial teams, and funny enough, those guys do sit there, even though they come earlier than us. They do watch us, what we do. Do we work together? Do we work as a team, or are we isolated? So I know you're not going to get well or have a good relationship with everyone, but on match days, you need to be a team. And so nobody from the outside should be able to pick that up, that maybe there is not so much of a good relationship. But then once you get there and you become my partner, as much as we differ with personalities, but there we need to get on and be one, because we're going to need each other when on the field of play. And collect fully completed team sheets before the toss, which you have mentioned earlier on. Confirm both teams have the correct match balls to be used, and make sure that both balls that are going to be used are the same. Agree the boundary and allowances for the boundary. Any overhanging trees, just make sure this point and any obstacles within the boundary to be regarded as a boundary. So those are the information that you need to agree on. At times you find there's a tree that's within the field of play. There's a rugby pole. There could be any other thing that's within the field of play that you use your local playing conditions, which they would tell you if it hits the tree, if it hits the rugby pole, whether it's a boundary 4, it's a boundary 6. So that's why I'm saying that 1 hour, it might not be sufficient, but you can still do it. But just my personal opinion, I think you need more than that. Any special condition affecting the match as well, if there's any, that can be discussed. And synchronize watches with your partner and scorers. Make sure that you all on the same time, and there's no one that's a minute or 2 minutes or more or less. Just make sure that everything is synchronized before we start the match. The wickets properly pitched, that you need to do when you walk with your partner, and keep the spare stumps by the scorer and the spare bail as well. And just make sure that all that is kept on standby just in case it might be required. Measure the crease, pitch length, fielding restriction circle if it's applicable. That's where the white ball cricket. And check the side screen are in line, so that you do check. Those are one of the key things that you do check when you work with your partner, just to make sure that everything is aligned and there's nothing that's gonna maybe stop the game, or with the batsman being disturbed by any thing that's on the side screen or so. Check where the covers the roller and sawdust if they are available. Check with the grounds staff, that means the curator. You need to have a good relationship as well with the curator, because that's another person that will help you in case you need a roller, a sawdust, or need to get covers, and if covers need to be taken out. That's the communication that you're going to need to make with the ground staff, just to make sure that you can pass on the information back to the boat captains. And with your colleague, you are able to make sure that you calculate the number of overs that needs to be played and all that information. Hence, I said it's very key to make sure that you've got a good relationship with the curator as well. Ensure that the covers on the side of field are dry. These are where it has rained, and just make sure, because when the ball gets there and there's a water dump there on the covers, you might just have to need to change that ball every now and then. It goes to that. Just when you do make sure that it's dry, you know, at least you can still continue playing up until the ball gets too wet for you to be able to change it. So just to avoid that, just make sure that that gets checked before you can start play again. Both umpires to speak at the pre-toss, discussion with the captain. So you don't want to seem to be, even if you're standing with the less experience, or you more experienced, or your colleague is more experienced than you, just make sure that both of you have an input when you have to discuss any things that you need to discuss prior to the toss, or with the toss, and the captains are involved, so that both of you can earn that respect from the captains, and not to seemingly that there's only one guy and which is more experienced, and then now they're going to see, oh, this is the target, we're going to target this one who doesn't speak well, it doesn't look confident. Then that's how they start separating the two of you. So if you both speak, then it makes sure that they don't know who to target at this moment. No conversation about the pitch might play who should bat or bowl first. I think we should avoid that. I know sometimes we like saying, if you know the oppositions, especially the weak ones, you say, hey, they must bat first. This one, we want to go home quickly. So these are the conversations we sometimes do have jokingly. But in the game of cricket, where sometimes when you think you're going to have a quick game, you might just have maybe 6 or 7 quick wickets. Guess what? Then the tail enders play up until the whole 50 overs. Then you're there. So your concentration level as well, you need to have them up to 100% for the duration of whatever that was remaining, for you to concentrate when all those wickets fell. So on the field of play, make your decision without fear or favor, and you need to enjoy, which is very important. Guys, when you go to that field, you've got the best seat in the cricket field. So when you make your decision, even if it's not a correct decision, give it with confidence, so it doesn't look bad. So that's what we've been taught, and we're all gonna make mistakes. Accept it and make sure that you learn from it, and just enjoy. And that will be end of me. Any questions or comments? We'll be gladly taking that. Tom, that's me. Over to you.